Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your sources, sift through them, and pull out the key insights for you. Today, we're digging into a really famous, maybe a infamous Silicon Valley mantra: move fast and break things. You know, the one from Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's early hacker way.
That's right. It was powerful, really powerful. But it was all about speed, right? Getting products out fast, iterating quickly. Forget that slow, old waterfall way of doing things.
Yeah, the idea was basically, if nothing's breaking, you're probably not going fast enough.
Exactly. And for disruption, wow, it worked. For a while, startups could just explode onto the scene. But then they scaled.
And the things getting broken weren't so small anymore.
Not at all. We started talking about, billions of users affected, democratic processes, privacy, big stuff.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then, to sort of unpack how that idea had to change.
Precisely. How the strategy needed to evolve for, sustainable innovation.
Yeah.
Not just flash-in-the-pan disruption.
Right. So Facebook itself, they made a big change, didn't they, around 2014?
They did. They officially retired, move fast and break things.
And replaced it with, what was it? Move fast with stable infra.
Yeah, move fast with stable infra. Sounds maybe a little less kitschy.
Yeah, a bit less edgy. But what did that actually mean for a huge company like Facebook? Seems subtle.
Oh, it was way more than just words. It signaled a massive internal shift, a realization, really. It meant pouring resources into solid developer tools.
Okay.
Into automated testing, continuous integration, continuous delivery pipelines, CI/CD, all that back-end stuff.
Stuff that lets you build and release software faster, but also more reliably.
Exactly. The goal became speed through stability, not instead of it, catching problems before they hit millions of users.
It makes sense.
And importantly, that idea of stable infra, it wasn't just tech. It started to include ethical frameworks, responsible design. Super critical now with AI.
Okay, speed through stability. But doesn't adding all that infrastructure, those processes, doesn't that just slow you down, especially if you're smaller, trying to compete? And you mentioned the problems. How did just misinterpreting break things lead to, recklessness?
Yeah, it's a fair question. It feels counterintuitive. Build more to go faster, but the reality is you build a better road, you travel faster and safer. Without that foundation, people took break things too literally, and the costs were huge. Shipping awful products.
Right.
Racking up massive technical debt you have to pay back later. And then the really big stuff, privacy scandals, misinformation, spreading like wildfire.
You just have to look at something like Theranos, right? Extreme example, maybe, but...
A very stark example. All speed, all promises, zero substance or safety in the end. A total disaster.
Okay, so recklessness is out. Intelligent innovation is in.
Yeah.
But how do you actually foster that? What's the key ingredient, maybe the cultural piece, needed to learn from failure without just being careless?
It really comes down to culture. You have to fundamentally reframe failure. It can't be this taboo thing. It needs to be seen as a strategic asset, almost.
A strategic asset? How?
Well, you distinguish between intelligent failure, like a well-designed experiment that doesn't pan out but teaches you something valuable. Think Edison and the light bulb filament trials.
Okay. Learning what doesn't work.
Exactly. Versus just sloppy failure, which is, carelessness or planning. An intelligent failure, analyzed properly, often gives you a clearer signal than a muddled success.
Okay, so accepting intelligent failure is key. But what allows that? What's the absolute must-have?
The non-negotiable foundation, it's psychological safety.
Psychological safety. Define that for us.
It's that shared belief on a team that it's okay to take interpersonal risks. You can speak up with a weird idea, ask a question that might sound dumb, admit a mistake.
Without fear of being shot down or embarrassed or punished.
Precisely. And leaders have a huge role here. They have to model it, admit their own mistakes, frame the work as learning, not just execute.
That makes total sense culturally. You can feel the difference on teams where that safety exists versus where it doesn't. But how do companies make this real, like operationally, not just posters on the wall?
Right. Good question. One really powerful tool comes from Google's SRE teams, site reliability engineering.
The people keeping Google's stuff running.
Exactly. They perfected the blameless postmortem.
Blameless. Key word there.
Absolutely central. The entire point is learning, not punishment. You start from the assumption that everyone involved acted with good intentions, given the information they had at the time.
Okay, so how does it work?
It's structured. You create a factual timeline of what happened, no finger pointing.
Mm.
Then you do root cause analysis like the 5 whys technique. Just keep asking why to get deeper.
Digging past the surface symptoms.
Right. And crucially, you identify concrete action items to prevent it from happening again. And if you keep these postmortems in a central place, accessible, you build this amazing institutional memory. Collective wisdom.
We've talked about Facebook making the shift, Google using postmortems. What about companies that didn't adapt, that stuck to their old ways?
Yeah, the landscape is littered with them, unfortunately. Think about Kodak.
Invented digital photography but missed the boat.
Completely. Or Blockbuster versus Netflix. Classic examples. It illustrates the innovator's dilemma, right? Their previous success actually trapped them.
How so? Trapped them?
They built processes, cultures, entire businesses optimized for their existing profitable model. So when something truly disruptive came along, even if they saw it,
they couldn't or wouldn't break their own successful patterns to embrace it.
Exactly. Inertia is powerful.
So, quite a journey from the wild days of move fast and break things to something more mature, move fast with stable infra. And understanding that requires that cultural bedrock, psychological safety, embracing intelligent failure.
It really does. And maybe the mantra for innovators today, for the next generation, needs an update too.
Okay, what would that be?
Perhaps something like learn fast, build responsibly.
Yeah. Learn fast, build responsibly. I like that.
Yeah, because the future isn't about who can be the most reckless. It's about who can learn the fastest.
Sure.
While also building things that are resilient, responsible, and create real sustainable value. For everyone involved, customers, employees, society as a whole, that's the challenge now.